Fred Matt standing by. Good morning, Fred.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, good morning, Fred Matt, who was very funny last night at the Tim Reed roast.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was quite the night last night. We were talking earlier this morning when I was coming in bright and early. It should be mandatory every day after a roast should be a day off. That would be nice for all of us, but doesn't seem to work that way. Yeah, doesn't work that way. We wanted to chat with you just briefly, if we could, on the sale of the Syracuse Chiefs to the New York Mets, that pending sale. And I know that you guys own a good part of the Syracuse Chiefs, the baseball team in Syracuse, and wanted to know what your thoughts are on all of this.
You know, I've been in Denver and Las Vegas last week, so I literally found out about it yesterday, and so I don't have the down and dirty yet.
Yeah.
But, so you're going to have to call me back another day. But, you know, I hope it's good. It's been a community team. There's been I was on the board for 15 years or something. I had to get off 3 years ago because they took over the concessions, and as a brewery, we couldn't be part of something where the concessions are owned by the team. But, they had brought in, at different times, there were about a bunch of bottom feeders that were trying to buy the team. And, the position has always been, it's been a community team. It's a Syracuse team, and, we ought to be focused on keeping it in Syracuse. So, I unfortunately was not involved in that decision. My hope is that that's what's going to happen. I don't know. My hope is the Mets are going to stay in Syracuse for years to come, and I think if the Mets are involved, there's more money there. The team did struggle financially, and there's been, the former kind of managers of the team were really great operational people, but they were terrible marketers, and, Syracuse has probably gotten down on them to some degree justifiably. I think in recent years they've done a tremendous job of Jason Samaral has done a great job, but it's a long way back when you lose your customer base. And so my hope is, they stay in Syracuse, that the Mets breathe some more energy and behind the stuff, all the great stuff Jason's been doing, and it turns out to be a good thing for all.
Well, I know the Post-Standard has a story in this morning's paper really trying to strategize the many ways the Mets could kind of squirm out of this deal and find the team end up moving, which would be awful, especially off the money, all the money that's been put into the stadium there and the fact that it's been there for so long. But, as a Mets fan, I know Manaski and I were talking about this, very excited when we heard the news. This could be having the AAA team up here, New York's top team playing in Syracuse. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and I'm a diehard Mets fan too, so we're going to have to go to a game together.
I like it. Now, I hope that the Mets take over. They better not. You still better be able to buy Saranac in the stadium. That's got to be that should be part of the deal. Yeah, no, my guess is it is. I know I think we have 2 more years on a contract, but we've been there as long as the Chiefs have been around. So that's been recognized, and I think that would stay. But you just never know. You don't know. I have to tell you, your grandfather, it was FX was your grandfather, and I remember doing the Mets games, the Little Falls Mets games, the Oneonta or the Utica Blue Sox games. And those beer nights, and your grandfather used to come to those. It was a celebrity walking through the door, and those were great nights. I mean, the brewery's involvement in baseball goes way back. Yeah. So actually, FX was my dad. Walter was my grandfather. Got it. And in 1969, this is dating myself, but my dad, I had broken my leg and could not go on a ski trip to Vermont with the family. And so my mother knew I was a big baseball fan, a big baseball player, and she called up my father and said, you're going to get tickets for the Mets, for you and Fred, for the World Series. And he said, how the hell am I going to do that? And she said, I don't know, but don't come home for dinner unless you have them. That is funny.
Which is why we call my mother Rough Duff.
That is an awesome story.
He got him, and we were about 20 rows up from the third baseline.
Wow.
And Tommy Agee got up and hit a home run first at batter.
Wow. Well, you are a Mets fan. You're all in on the Mets. So this is this is a big deal. I have to tell you, I always mess up the relationship with the Mets. The most embarrassing interview I ever did with Fred was when I said, "Well, your brother Nick," and of course, apparently everyone knows that Fred and Nick are not brothers, except for me. Not easy.
Well, so it's funny because I was on the West Coast, and in New York, usually on the East Coast, usually we're brothers or usually we're brothers or uncle brother.
Yeah.
And on the West Coast, for some reason, it's oftentimes father son.
Yeah.
And my cousin has joined the company, and twice out in California or in Las Vegas, had someone say to me, "Well, I saw your father, and it's good to see your son." I'm like, holy
We're still at the roast. I had to dump the S word there, Fred. But other than that is a funny story. That is
It could have been an F-bomb.
That's right. You're absolutely right. We're still blending from last night a little bit. I got to tell you, though, the one thing, Fred, though, that is cool about all of this, even if people are messing up their relationships, is it's a family-owned brewery, and it's hard to find businesses that are still family-owned today.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
I mean, the thing I'm proud of is that, we've been in business 129 years, and, that one is a feat in itself. But if you take companies that have made it that far, it's like 4%. And if you take family-owned companies, it's like 1%. And the fact that, we've stayed together as a family and like each other and still do a lot of things together, I think it's a nice thing. And what we do is that if you're not giving the consumer what they want day in and day out, you're not going to survive. And I think we can, we haven't always done a great job of that, but over the 129 years, we've done it well enough that we're still here today. And we love being part of the community, and we look forward to, growing growing in the future.
It's always funny. In some cases, beer breaks up families, but beer has done a pretty good job with the Matz family, keeping everybody together. That's a good thing. So, Fred, you were very funny last night. It was great, and I got to tell you, if people haven't gotten it yet, I know it's coming up where you're not going to be able to get it again. But that pumpkin ale this year's blend is just really something special. That is a great beer.
I would agree. It's beautiful.
All right, you have a wonderful weekend, Fred. We appreciate always taking the time.
Great seeing you, and let's look forward to a Mets game next year.
All set. Cool. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Fred, Matt, we'll take a break. Come right back.